Well, hi, good morning. Thanks so much for joining me in my shop. Today is July 6th. And what am I up to today? A couple more capacitors, two anyway. I'm going to change. One of them, can you even see? You can kind of see. One of them's here. And this is a stereo input for the phono. So there's two of these. And the input phono signal passes through these capacitors on the way to the rest of the amplifier. So I think these are probably worth doing. A little tight, but the interesting thing about this is not terribly interesting. Is the capacitor is up on top. The connection is actually down underneath. One to two pins on this tube. Interesting? Maybe that's not so interesting. Well, I'm going to try to do all the work up on the top here. The first thing we can do is get this out of the way. It's going to make a big difference. So this is the one of three tubes, I guess, that are shielded. This one's pretty thoroughly shielded, and this one's partly shielded, and the FM tube is in a shield also. Notice this shield is shaped with these dugouts here. I think it's so you can put your fingers there and grab the tube. I'm not sure. I think that's what's happening there. Now, how to get in here? Well, one of them's pretty straightforward. The other one, let's take a look on the oh, my other camera's not ready. Okay, I'll take a little closer look at these two capacitors. So there's the first one. Is it a 0.01? 0.01. And the other one, now this is the easy one to get to. The other one is back under here. One lead going through, you can see the two leads going through the chassis. The other lead, other lead I think I get it. The other lead's just bending up. Sometimes I sort of have some cognitive problems trying to understand what I'm seeing. So I think it just curls up. The lead just curls up. Comes to this terminal with the wire on it. Well, that's easy to access. Okay. Good. Okay. Very good. Let's go after the tough guy first. Tough guy first. Not connected where I thought it was. 250 volt. Okay, so that's a 10 picofarad, 10 nanofarad capacitor there. So here's the replacements. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the second one. I'll have to replace these down under the chassis, but I can't do it all from the top here. Now these guys are, as far as I know, are subjected to no DC. They're just carrying the AC signal from the, oh, they're different. .01. They are carrying the audio signal from the cartridge to the right to the grid of the special amplifier tube for the phono side of things. So well, if these were leaky, I don't think it would have much impact. When we're talking about a leaky capacitor, we're still talking about very high resistance, internal resistance. Okay, 50 volts. What do you say? Open right up, 150. It shouldn't go much higher than that. Not opening all the way. So, even though these have not been working hard, they really haven't been working at all. Don't do much. Even when they're being used, they're not doing much. They're still showing signs of degradation here. 50. Okay, 150. That opened right up. Okay, 250. Don't go any higher. Open right up. Really nothing terribly wrong with this. Let's try measuring its capacitance. I'll do it on a different instrument here. Maybe do an interesting experiment at this point, actually. So it's reading, it should be reading 10 nanofarads, instead it's reading 13. It's reading a touch high with a little bit of loss. I don't know how to interpret the loss exactly. So when a capacitor reads a little higher capacitance than what it says on it, they usually, to me, I interpret that as a indicating that there's a leak. Now this one tested with more of a leak. Let's see what happens with this one. This is the experiment. You'd think that black tarry stuff would make for a better capacitor, but maybe not. Here we go. And what do you say? 16. So 13 yellow one. This one's reading 16 when it's a 10. And you see the V loss is about double. Well, it all makes sense with the story I have in my head. Now, would this cause a problem? How much resistance is actually there? Well, we can try measuring this. We can try it. My experience is I've never been able to measure in a capacitor like this any kind of resistance. 60 megohm scale. More, according to this, it's more than 60 megohms. Now, is this a fair way to make this measurement? Probably. You see, it slowly went up as it charged. So we are talking about very, very, very large resistances, even in a leaky capacitor. So, probably not going to get any benefit out of doing this, but we will do it. kind of have to now. Okay, I'll be installing those two capacitors. Okay, just making the final connections here. Closer observation here. Yeah. Good. Yep. Now I don't think I'm going to test this. I'm going to move on to the next issue. Capacitor wise, you can see the two guys in there. Good. Very good. Okay. Next issue is the FM stabilization capacitor. Now, I had in the back of my mind that I'd already changed it, but I think I'm thinking of another radio. I've done so many of these German radios lately, and they're quite similar in many respects. Somewhere in here will be a 2, 3, 4 microfarad capacitor that's referred to as the FM stabilization capacitor, and it's well worth changing. It's an electrolytic capacitor. Well, I don't see it. Often they place it right up on top where it's easy to get to. I've noticed, usually right in this area, but there's nothing here. So it's bound to be underneath. Let's take a look at the schematic and see what's up. Okay, let's take a look at the FM detector here. This is kind of the root of it. These are the coils, the transistor, or transformers here. This one in particular, right around here on this output, we should find, there it is, 5 microfarad electrolytic capacitor. Oh, it's inside this can. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, inside the can. Okay, well, I'll have to take a look at that. That's why I couldn't find it. Looks like maybe that can just pulls off. Let's take a look at the radio. So this is the can they're talking about, and looks like there's little tangs holding it in. Quite likely these are mounted onto this can. Maybe not, eh? They're loose. Got some kind of paint here. It looks like a freezing paint. Same thing here. It's supposed to keep these from rocking, probably. Well, it looks like the paint never reached the. It's come away here. So okay, so that's not a problem. So if that's what they're using to lock this at the top, there's no lock. So it's a question of bending in those tabs, lifting this off. What am I going to get out of that? I'm going to expose these two coils, in components, and I'll bet you that's where we get it. Is there just a chance I've been fooled? You know those German engineers. Is it just by some chance sitting right under here? Like that. They are not being honest. Well, that could be it. That looks a little big. One end grounded. One end grounded. And it's coming over to this tube. I don't think it can be the guy. The guy's got to be much more into here. Okay, looking under here, I see a couple of screws, like nuts on screws. And I also see some of those twisty tangs. This one's all soldered up. So probably these two nuts would remove the entire unit, parts and all. Probably normally you would remove there's no normal here. Whoop! Whoop! There's no normal here. On installation, that's the only normal thing. The repair stuff's nothing normal about that. There's another twisted piece here, but probably locking the base in. Probably this shell can come off if I can just bend the tabs out of the way. Let's take a closer look and see if there isn't some secret I'm overlooking here. You're looking down where the little tab is sticking out. The can looks bent a bit, as if somebody's been in there with a screwdriver working it. And this one's even worse. Is that tab bent downwards too? It's like that it's come through and then somebody's bent it downwards? Ooh. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's bent downwards and locked in. The value of getting at this part. The value of getting at this part. Is it worth the well, I should make a little struggle here at doing this. This one does not appear to be bent over, but unfortunately the can looks bent in. You want to slip it underneath the tang into the slot like some kind of a little tiny hooky thing. Hook it from below. Fat chance on that happening. And this one, it really does look bent over. That's pretty tough. Look at that thing sticking up through the hole there on the corner. That's a little odd. Something like that would be there. I don't think it means anything, but a distraction. Like if one side of the can to lift, the other side to come off easier. Probably the case. This would be the side to try to do. Okay, let's do that. We'll attempt that. See how it goes. Let's start with this tool. You can feel how hard it is to push that back. Oh, it's rock solid. Wow, it's not going back. Not with any kind of ease. Let's try this. No. This can is not coming off without a major amount of work. So the FM situation is that the automatic frequency control seems to tune a little bit differently than when the automatic frequency control is switched off. Is that related to that capacitor? Probably not. Is there some kind of adjustment here, like somewhere in here? Just one adjustment, make one, maybe this, make one adjustment and we're done. Hey, this one doesn't look like it's waxed up. Let's just take a closer look at that waxed up situation, because I've kind of been going along with the belief. Now see, you can see the wax in here. This is the one of interest. I have a real hard time seeing my own screen here. Yeah, the camera's not really doing it justice. Can I get this on camera? Looking at a black thing in a dark hole. I can certainly see it with my eyes. I would say there's a small amount of wax in there. This other one, wow. Could be the same thing. Very small amount of wax in here. Not an awful lot in these two either. This is an IF adjustment. Something's not adding up. There should be two IFs in here. Maybe I haven't got this right. Maybe this is the other IF in this can. Here. Yeah, that doesn't add up. One. Where's the other one? In the FM receiver, normally, a typical FM receiver, you have two IF transformers, followed by an additional transformer, which is part of the detector, which is what I think is in here. There's two transformers here. So there's two here, but there's actually four inside there. Two slugs on each side. If that's the case, then you have to come up from underneath, I think. Let's look. Yeah, so there's open holes here. And did they try waxing those? Yeah, there is wax. Yeah, really varies. Whoever did the waxing, like this one is waxed up a lot, but this other one is just a little drip on the side. So that makes well, we got some diagrams here. Let's just take a look, see what we got. Just turn down the mega light. Here we are here. 1, 111, 11, and 4 IV. They've got this in Roman numerals. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Why are they showing it on the side like that? There's nothing on the side. It's up on the top. It's up like this. AM, FM, 1 of 2, 3 of 4. This is looking down on the switch bank. These are all adjustments in the RF area. Not for FM though, but for AM and shortwave. All appears to be working well. The FM adjustments are up here in the FM tuner. here too. What's all that? Just looking, and I don't really know. 102. Okay, well, I don't think I'm going to do anything with the FM tuner either. 10, so I think that's a coil right here. Well, this doesn't explain it all that well. We got to see what these are. 201, 202, 204, and 205. What happened to 203? Don't ask those kinds of questions. 1, 2, 4, and 5. Okay, so if we look at this, the schematic, I don't think I can read this one. I'm going to have to look at it on the computer. Yeah, I can't read any of that. Okay. Let's take a look on the pooter and see what we can see. Okay, so we're looking for those numbers. Here's 202. That's C202. This would be 011 here. No, D11. I'm not sure what this is. B. I don't know what that is. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't use that numbering over here. This is the second IF, AM IF right here. This is the FM IF transformer right here. So this has one slug in the primary of the transformer and one slug in, I'm not sure the proper term for this, but this is very much the this is the adjustment we need to find. Oh, it says 202 right there in a box. 201, 205 in a circle. 204. Here we are. So 201, 202, 204, and 205. 202 is probably the one that needs adjustment to align the FM with its AFC. Okay, so I'm going to stop at this moment and I got to read up the manual on alignment and see what I can extract from that might be helpful in this process. Okay, so if I was to attempt that last part of the alignment, I would be poking around with this guy here. And it's waxed up. It's the one that's waxed up the most. Yeah. Pretty much blocked with wax. Such a quandary. I know there's other adjustments out here which are pretty curious. Like there's this one. There's this one. Pretty curious. Maybe because I'm not getting anywhere with what I'm doing right now. I'll try to identify what these are. What these two guys are. Okay. So this adjustment looks like something that's ready to dissipate some heat. This looks like this is built for heat dissipation. It's over here near the power supply. Some of these leads seem to go right up towards the big transformer. So let's look on the schematic now. So I think that guy is this guy right here. This looks like it could be for hum purposes. That could be what's going on with this one. Why have they drawn this so weird? This bend here. Bend there. Well, that's what I think it is. I think it's this, and I'm not about to adjust it. Now the other one, I really haven't found it yet. There's only one of them in here, So I have not found it. That's about all I can say. So I'm going to continue looking for the other one. Here, the other one's not a high wattage one. Yeah, too much to look at. After an awful lot of searching around, I think I found the adjustment. I think it's this one. W20. 150K. Is there anything written on it? Not that I can see. The interesting thing is that this I believe is the S7 is the finger switch on the tuning, on the FM tuning dial, and this is right there. Now you wouldn't expect a resistor to affect tuning. This comes down here, right to the output in coil 202 again. This is basically the FM output. What are they doing with it? Feeding some DC back, intending on the DC that's developed in this circuit. Offhand, I think when you have things tuned in, this becomes 0 volts here when tuned in. I don't think I'm going to figure this out, how this all works. The question would be, is this the secret to aligning the AFC and the regular tuning? I adjusted this a little bit. How could that possibly work? I don't know how this works at all. So we'd be affecting this out here. This is going right into here. See, now this may be a varactor or being used as a varactor, and this may be the AFC right here. So this might have something to do with it. Now, do I dare adjust that and see what happens? Can always return it to its position. Okay, gotta think about that a little bit before I go ahead. But maybe this is it. Maybe. Couldn't find any written instructions on alignment. Maybe I haven't looked hard enough. Okay. Well, I'm stymied at almost every turn here today. So if I want to try adjusting this, I don't have any instructions to follow. I have to do it experimentally. It's not outrageous to try this. The problem is, how do I get access to this while I have the radio positioned for tuning it? I have to tune it. I have to be able to touch that button. Maybe I could just hang it out over the edge here. It's sitting right on the tuning knob. And you know what? It's sitting. I can do it. That's the switch, and I can tune. Now, what's the objective here? The objective is to try to get this radio to tune to the same frequency whether you push the button or not. So, do this with a radio station. It's probably the better way to do it, as opposed to using a signal generator. Okay, let me get this set up here, and we'll give it a go. Okay, let's slow down just a bit. I took my magnifier, took a close look at this, and you can read on it 150K. The other thing is the adjustment is all the way one way. It's right to an extreme. That's, Stymied again. 150K. Let me just pop up the schematic here, because I think that's the right resistance for what I found on the schematic. Let me just double check. Yeah, 150K. That's it. So for sure that has something to do with this FM. All the way one way. Okay, I don't know. Okay, yeah. back to what I was doing. I'll set this up, and we'll give it a run for its money. A run for somebody's money. Okay, we're ready to start it up here. You know, this adjustment, I don't know, does it adjust? Which one does it adjust? Does it adjust the receiver when the button's open, or does it adjust it when the button's closed? I don't know. If I got a good tool to go in there too. Let me see what I've got. I can probably stick a screwdriver in there. A little tiny screwdriver. Let's give it a test. Yep, turns. Right at the extreme. Not very reassuring. But maybe that's the opportunity right there. Okay, volume's set. Speakers are connected. Everything looks safe. Okay, away we go. It's set on FM right now. It's not tuned to anything in particular. At least I don't know that. Lots of time to warm up. Here we are. Okay, I'm going to try to tune this to reach a station. Something strong. I'm all the way one way, no? Okay, I'm going to try to tune it in without pushing the AFC button. Squeeze the button. Can't hear any difference. Let's go a little off. We hear it now. So that's without the button squeezed. Button squeezed. And with the button squeezed, what happens if we turn this? With the button not squeezed, what happens? I'd say nothing. So let me tune to the edge. Okay, we're on an edge. Nothing. Go to the other edge. Okay, say there. Hey, what happened there? Go to the edge. I don't think anything happened there. AFC's catching it, I think. So, okay. Wow, this does do something. Okay, now I'm going to push the white button here. And tune through the station. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so I'll tune it in with the white buttons not pushed. There it is. See, I can't hear a difference now. Okay, tune it off to the edge. There we are. So that's no button, that's button. This doesn't, oh, you know why it's off all the way one way? It's as good as they can get it. They decided that was good enough. It's not really good enough. So buttons pushed, I'm tuning. Center of the station's there, letting go. Didn't make much difference, did it? Let's see if we can find a stronger station. Repeat this. Maybe the stronger station has more. Here's one. Okay, get it tuned in. Right here, push the button. Okay, the button's pushed. Tuned in. Let go. It doesn't seem nearly as bad as before. Let's go even further. Find an even stronger station here. Where's my CBC station? Not showing up. There it is. Okay, so I can do this without worrying about copyright. Let's turn it up.
And Kelly Clarkson, for example, do a lot of segments that
Okay,
translate
now,
really well to social media.
tuning this to the center without depressing
and,
the with the AFC active.
Right? That kind of thing does really well on TikTok.
Whoops, I bumped the button.
Or social platforms. And
The
on
AFC is
other
working
side
pretty
of
good
that,
on this.
You know, we're seeing talk shows like Red Table Talk, right? Like Jaddock and Cat Smith.
Okay, that's the
that
center.
are premiering
Pushing the
on
button.
social media. That one airs on Facebook Watch. And it runs 30 minutes. It has an audience. I think there's just going to be a lot more emphasis on social media from now on.
Not going
And
to get you there.
That's kind of what Candy Carter was getting at.
I think that's another trend that I'm deeply contributing to because I have watched every single karaoke.
It's
That
pretty
is like
interesting.
My fixed part of my day is I don't miss the karaoke. I have my my tea in the morning and then I watch the karaoke. That's what I.
So, conceivably, this has never been adjusted since it came out of the factory. And in the factory, they adjusted it all the way one way. And then they're stuck making a decision at that point. If this is what happens in the factory, this goes all the way to an extreme, and yet the receiver isn't quite working quite right. They're going to make a decision. They're going to sell it like that, or they're going to take the time to try to find out what has gone wrong in the receiver. And in this case, I would say, they just stuck that to the extreme and went good enough, out you went. It completely defeats the purpose of that fancy AFC on-off switch if this isn't working right. That AFC switch becomes a problem because every time you grab the knob, you push the switch, the radio tunes off a little bit, and when you get her all tuned in and let go, it's not in the right spot. Not the end of the world because you can move the dial without pushing the buttons. This didn't seem to get us there. Is it because of some other? No. If it was because of a component drift problem, this wouldn't be at an extreme. Yeah. Well, I'm going to stop for a little bit and just ponder the whole situation because I think there's a good chance I'm finished right here, right now. This is the end of it. This is the end. Well, maybe. Well, I think I may have reached the end of the road here with this receiver. It's working quite well now. It may not be perfect, but then really, is perfect a good goal for something like this? Everything is functioning, plays records, sounds good. Shortwave receives, AM receives, FM's doing well. I just don't think there's anything more I can do that's going to cause anything other than a very slight marginal improvement. And there's a risk there. It may actually go the other way. So I should quit while I'm ahead. I think that's really the name of the game here. So from here, it's back into its cabinet. And for a wonderful final test, a little bit of cleanup here. I got to clean up the glass and put it all back together. I think that's for tomorrow. And I think I'm done for today. So thanks a lot for watching. And good. That's good. Yeah. And if you're clicking that like button, let me thank you for that too. See ya.